Hello, and welcome back to the Product Academy. My name is Javier Roldan, and as an experimentation lead, I help teams again. Hello, and welcome back to the Product Academy. My name is Javier Roldan, and as an experimentation lead, I help teams do good experiments in order to develop our products in the best possible way. Again. Hello, and welcome back to the Product Academy. My name is Javier Roldan, and as an experimentation lead, I help teams do good experiments in order to develop our products in the best possible way. Today, we will learn what conditions are necessary to be able to do an A-B test. Let's start. First of all, we select groups that are comparable. We have to ensure that the groups that we are going to experiment with are subjects to the same conditions. Remember from the previous lesson, with an A-B test, we want to measure the effect that we cause with our changes. If besides the changes we have implemented exists other differences between the groups, we will not be able to establish a causal relationship. Would you measure the performance of a feature? Again, would you measure the performance of a feature by releasing it on iOS and comparing it against web desktop? Next one, we select individuals randomly. Why? In order to avoid sampling bias, which consists on over or underestimate a population feature in your sample. We need to be sure that our groups are comparable. We cannot have differences in our groups. The characteristics of the users in both groups should be as similar as possible. We will go into more detail later when we talk about sample in A/B testing. We use metrics that exist in both groups. I'm going to come back again. We use metrics that exist in both groups. I'm going to come back to the A/B testing definition again. An A/B test is an experiment that allows us to compare two versions of something with respect to a goal. So that goal, or the metric that represents our goal, must exist in both groups. We should not compare something against the absence of something. In these situations, it is best to do a smoke test or treat the case as an MVP. Depends on the product phase that you are. Next one, we have enough users to test with. The number of users we have to experiment with is very important for A/B testing. It's easy to understand. It's easy to understand it. If we think about, for example, an election, would you be comfortable if the results of an election were decided by votes from just two persons selected at random? If we are in a situation with little or very little traffic, we must rely on more qualitative approach rather than quantitative. The last one, we are hypothesis driven. As we saw in lesson 5.2, we are applying the scientific method when running an A/B test. Having a well-defined hypothesis is key to the ensure learning in our experiment. Again, as we saw in lesson 5, as we saw in lesson 5.2, we are applying the scientific method when running an A/B test. Having a well-defined hypothesis is key to ensure learning in our experiment. In the next lesson, Fabio will explain to you how to build a good hypothesis for your A/B test. Let's summarize what we have learned today. The necessary conditions to run an A/B test are: select groups that are comparable, select individuals randomly, use metrics that exists in both groups, we need to have enough users to test with, and we have to be hypothesis-driven. If you want to know more about the topics we have seen today, in these links you can find more information. Thank you very much, and see you in the next lesson, Testable Hypothesis.